Hey everyone, before we dive into this wild story of betrayal and revenge, hit that subscribe button to join our community and never miss a tale like this one. I'm an engineer with a knack for solving problems no one else can crack. Years ago, I worked for a mid-sized tech firm, pouring my heart into a groundbreaking project. It was my brainchild, a revolutionary software algorithm that could change the industry. I spent countless nights perfecting it, sketching diagrams, and coding until dawn. My team was small, just me and a few colleagues I trusted. We were a tight-knit group, or so I thought. I presented my idea to my bosses, expecting praise and support. Instead, I got vague nods and promises of, "We'll look into it." I didn't know then, but that was the first red flag. My idea was about to be stolen. The company's leadership had other plans. They saw the potential, but not for me. I was just a cog in their machine. They wanted the glory for themselves. I was naive, believing hard work would earn me credit. That innocence would cost me dearly. A few weeks after my presentation, I noticed changes. My project files were moved to a restricted server. I was locked out of my own work. My questions were met with excuses. IT issues, they said. I pushed harder, asking for updates, but got stonewalled. Then, I overheard a conversation in the break room. Two executives were discussing the new algorithm as their own. My stomach dropped. They were taking my idea, repackaging it, and presenting it to the board. I confronted my manager, but he brushed me off, saying I was overreacting. I wasn't. I started digging, checking emails and server logs. What I found confirmed my worst fears. My name was scrubbed from the project. They were erasing me. I felt betrayed, but I wasn't ready to give up. I decided to play their game, but smarter. I kept quiet, documenting everything. Every email, every meeting, every change to the project. I saved it all. I knew I needed proof if I was going to fight this. Meanwhile, the company moved fast. They patented my algorithm under the CEO's name. My colleagues, the ones I thought were friends, stayed silent. Some even got promotions for their contributions. I was sidelined, assigned to meaningless tasks. My morale tanked, but my resolve grew. I started researching corporate law, intellectual property, anything that could help. Nights were spent reading legal texts instead of coding. I was out of my depth, but I wasn't giving up. I had to reclaim what was mine. This wasn't just about credit, it was about justice. I reached out to a lawyer, a friend of a friend who specialized in IP theft. She was skeptical at first. Big companies have deep pockets and deeper influence. But my evidence was solid. Timestamps, drafts, even early sketches on my personal laptop. She agreed to take my case pro bono, sensing a winnable fight. We filed a claim, alleging theft of intellectual property. The company laughed it off, thinking I was a nobody they could crush. They offered a small settlement to shut me up. I refused. I wasn't after a payout. I wanted my idea back. The legal battle began, draining my savings and my energy. Every court date felt like a punch to the gut, but I kept going, fueled by anger and principle. They underestimated me, and that was their mistake. The case dragged on for months, but we gained ground. My lawyer was relentless, exposing the company's shady tactics. Emails showed executives plotting to cut me out. The judge was unimpressed with their lies. Still, the company's legal team was brutal, painting me as a disgruntled employee. They even tried to smear my reputation, claiming I was unstable. It stung, but I had the truth on my side. My evidence was airtight, and their story was crumbling. The turning point came when a whistleblower, a former colleague, stepped forward. She confirmed my work was the foundation of the algorithm. The courtroom gasped. Victory was close, but I wasn't done yet. I wanted more than a legal win. I wanted control. The judge ruled in my favor, awarding me the patent and damages. It was a massive win, but the company still profited from my idea. They were licensing it out, raking in millions. I wasn't content with just a check. I wanted to hit them where it hurt. With the settlement money, I started planning. I wasn't just an engineer anymore. I was a strategist. I researched the company's finances, their stock, their weaknesses. They were over-leveraged, bloated with debt from bad acquisitions. An idea sparked. What if I could buy them out? It sounded insane, but I crunched the numbers. With the right investors, it was possible. I was no longer the naive coder. I was ready to play their game and win. I spent months building a case to attract investors. My story, Engineer Betrayed, Fighting Back, was compelling. I pitched to venture capitalists, showing them the company's vulnerabilities. My algorithm was their golden goose, but mismanagement was killing them. Investors saw the potential. They backed me, and we started buying shares quietly. The company had no idea what was coming. I worked in the shadows, using proxies to hide my involvement. Every share I bought felt like a step toward justice. The board was clueless, too busy celebrating their stolen profits. My lawyer kept me grounded, warning me of risks. But I was all in. This was my shot to take back what was mine. By the time the company noticed, I owned a significant stake. Their stock was tanking, partly because I leaked their financial troubles to the press. Panic set in. Their leadership scrambled, but it was too late. With my investors, I had enough shares to force a boardroom coup. I called for a shareholder meeting, revealing myself as the major player. The CEO's face went pale when he saw me. I presented my plan: take over, streamline operations, and restore integrity. The shareholders, tired of mismanagement, backed me. I was now in control. The company that stole my idea was mine. The irony was delicious, but I wasn't done yet. My first act as majority shareholder was to clean house. The executives who stole my idea, fired. The managers who enabled them, gone. I brought in a new team, people I trusted, who valued innovation over greed. I restructured the company around my vision, focusing on ethical practices. My algorithm became the centerpiece, now properly credited to me. Revenue soared as trust returned. I wasn't just running a company, I was rebuilding it. Every decision was a step toward erasing their corruption. Employees who stayed were loyal, inspired by the change. The old guard was history. I had turned their betrayal into my triumph. Looking back, the journey was brutal but worth it. I went from a betrayed engineer to the head of the company. My idea, once stolen, was now the foundation of a thriving business. I learned hard lessons about trust, power, and resilience. The corporate world is ruthless, but I played their game and won. My story spread, inspiring others to fight for their ideas. I wasn't just a coder anymore. I was a leader. The company's culture shifted, valuing creators over opportunists. I made sure no one would endure what I did. This wasn't just revenge, it was justice. And I was just getting started. Taking over the company didn't erase the scars. Late nights still haunted me, memories of betrayal sharp as ever. But running the show gave me purpose. I implemented policies to protect engineers, ensuring ideas were credited properly. My office door was always open for anyone with a vision. I hired brilliant minds who'd been overlooked, just like I was. The company's reputation began to recover, but it wasn't easy. Competitors were circling, smelling blood from the old regime's failures. I had to prove we were different now. Every day was a battle to rebuild trust. My team worked tirelessly, and I led by example. No more corporate games, just hard work and honesty. The algorithm that started it all was now a global success. Companies licensed it, and our profits soared. But I didn't rest on that victory. I invested in R&D, pushing for new innovations. My goal was to make the company a hub for creators, not a thief of ideas. I mentored young engineers, sharing my story to inspire them. Some days, I'd catch myself smiling at how far I'd come. From a cubicle to the corner office, it was surreal. But I never forgot the sting of betrayal. It fueled me to keep the company honest. My investors were thrilled, but I stayed cautious. Success was fragile, and I wasn't naive anymore. The old executives tried to fight back, of course. They spread rumors, claiming I'd manipulated the takeover. I ignored them. The truth was in the numbers. Our stock was climbing, and morale was high. I focused on building, not tearing down. Still, their whispers reached the press, painting me as a vengeful opportunist. I countered with transparency, releasing my story to the public. Blogs and tech journals ate it up. Engineers' Revenge became a headline. My openness disarmed the critics. People saw the real me, a guy who fought for what was right. The narrative shifted, and the old guard faded into obscurity. One of the toughest parts was confronting my former colleagues. Some had stayed silent out of fear, not malice. I gave them a chance to prove themselves under the new regime. Others, who'd actively betrayed me, were long gone. I didn't hold grudges, but I didn't forget either. Rebuilding the team meant fostering trust, not resentment. I held town halls, listening to employees' concerns. They wanted stability, and I delivered. We launched new projects, each one a testament to our new culture. My algorithm was just the start. Now we were innovating across the board. The company was alive again, and I was its heartbeat. Financially, we were stronger than ever, but I didn't let it go to my head. I remembered the lean days, scraping by during the lawsuit. I reinvested profits into employee benefits and community outreach. We sponsored STEM programs, giving kids a shot at tech careers. It felt good to give back, to make sure no one else got screwed over like I did. My lawyer, now a close friend, advised me to stay humble. She was right. Arrogance had destroyed the old leadership. I wasn't going to repeat their mistakes. Every decision was deliberate, every move calculated. I was building a legacy, not just a company. The industry started noticing our turnaround. Competitors tried to poach our talent, but loyalty kept them with me. I rewarded that loyalty with equity and bonuses. My team wasn't just working for a paycheck, they were part of something bigger. We were redefining what a tech company could be. Conferences invited me to speak, and I shared my story unfiltered. Audiences loved the raw honesty. I wasn't a polished CEO. I was an engineer who fought back. That resonated. Our brand became synonymous with integrity. Customers trusted us, and partnerships grew. The company was no longer a pariah, it was a beacon. Personal life took a hit, though. The years of fighting left little time for family or friends. I was married to the mission. My parents worried, but they were proud. I'd call them late at night, updating them on the latest wins. My old college buddies reached out, amazed at my journey. Some wanted in on the company, but I was selective. Trust was hard-earned now. I leaned on my lawyer and a few loyal colleagues for support. They kept me grounded when the stress hit hard. Running a company was lonelier than I expected. But every time I doubted myself, I remembered why I started. This was bigger than me. The old CEO tried one last stunt, suing me for unfair dismissal. It was a desperate move, and the courts threw it out. My evidence from the original case crushed his claims. He faded into irrelevance, a footnote in my story. I didn't celebrate his downfall, I just moved on. The company was my focus now. We launched a new product line, built on my algorithms framework. It was a hit, doubling our market share. Analysts called it a comeback story for the ages. I didn't care about the hype. I cared about proving we could succeed without stealing. And we were. I started thinking about the future, not just the company's, but mine. I wasn't sure how long I'd stay CEO. Leading was rewarding, but I missed coding, the pure joy of solving problems. I began grooming a successor, someone who shared my values. The company needed to outlive me, to stand as a testament to what's possible when you fight for what's right. I set up a foundation to protect employee ideas, funded by our profits. It was my way of ensuring no one else would suffer like I did. The foundation gained traction, attracting other companies to adopt our model. Change was spreading. By now, my story was legendary in tech circles. Young engineers emailed me, asking for advice. I told them to document everything, trust their gut, and never give up. Some called me a hero, others, a ruthless opportunist. I didn't care about labels. I'd done what I had to do. The company was thriving, employees were happy, and my idea was finally mine. I'd turned betrayal into triumph, not just for me but for everyone who believed in fairness. The scars remained, but they were badges of honor now. I'd fought the corporate machine and won. That was enough. As the company grew, I faced new challenges. Scaling meant more scrutiny, more pressure. Investors wanted faster returns, but I refused to cut corners. I'd seen what greed did to the old leadership. We stayed lean, focusing on quality over flash. Our products were reliable, our reputation solid. Customers loved that. We expanded into new markets, leveraging my algorithm's versatility. Every launch was a reminder of what I'd fought for. I made sure every employee knew the story, not to gloat, but to inspire. We weren't just a company, we were a movement. Integrity was our brand, and it sold. The board pushed for an IPO, but I hesitated. Going public could dilute our mission. I'd seen too many companies lose their soul to Wall Street. My investors were split. Some wanted the payout, others trusted my vision. I compromised, agreeing to explore it but only on our terms. We hired consultants to map out a plan that protected our values. Meanwhile, I kept the team focused on innovation. We launched a new AI tool, built on my original algorithm. It was a game changer, cementing our place in the industry. The IPO talks continued, but I was calling the shots. No one would hijack my company again. I started mentoring more, both inside and outside the company. Young engineers reminded me of myself, hungry, idealistic, a little naive. I shared my playbook, document everything, build a network, and never trust blindly. Some took my advice, others learned the hard way. I also spoke at universities, telling my story to packed auditoriums. Students were inspired, but I warned them about the corporate world's dark side. My message was simple. Your ideas are your power. Protect them. I set up scholarships through our foundation, funding kids who couldn't afford tech degrees. Giving back felt better than any stock option. The company's culture was now its biggest asset. Employees weren't just workers, they were creators. I gave them freedom to experiment, fail, and learn. Our turnover rate was near zero. People wanted to stay. We hosted hackathons, inviting outsiders to join our team for a weekend. Some of our best hires came from those events. I made sure every voice was heard, from interns to VPs. That openness drove innovation. Our latest product, a cloud-based platform, was born from an intern's idea. I gave her full credit and a promotion. The old me would have been shocked. The new me knew it was the right thing to do. The press still followed my story, calling it a David versus Goliath tale. I didn't love the spotlight, but it helped our brand. We were the underdog that won, and people rooted for us. I used interviews to push our mission, not my ego. Every article mentioned our commitment to fairness. It attracted talent and customers alike. Competitors tried to copy our model, but they lacked our authenticity. We weren't just selling tech. We were selling trust. That was our edge. The old executives' names were forgotten, their legacy erased. Mine was just beginning. Personally, I was finding balance. I reconnected with old friends, even took a vacation, my first in years. I started coding again, small side projects to keep my skills sharp. It felt good to create without pressure. My team noticed the change. I was less intense, more approachable. I even met someone special, though I kept it private. The company was stable enough that I could breathe. I delegated more, trusting my team to carry the vision. They didn't let me down. We were a family now, bound by shared values. The betrayal that started this journey felt like a distant memory. The IPO finally happened, but on my terms. We went public without losing our soul. The stock soared, and employees cashed in their shares. I made sure everyone benefited, not just the C-suite. The market loved our story. Engineer turned CEO, rebuilding a broken company. Analysts predicted we'd dominate the industry for years. I wasn't so sure. The tech world was brutal, and complacency was death. I kept us nimble, ready for the next challenge. My algorithm evolved, staying ahead of competitors. We weren't just surviving, we were thriving. And I was proud. I stepped down as CEO last year, passing the torch to my successor. She was an engineer, like me, with fire in her eyes. I stayed on as chairman, guiding from the sidelines. The company didn't need me in the driver's seat anymore. My foundation was my focus now, helping others fight corporate theft. I funded legal aid for engineers in my shoes, leveling the playing field. The industry was changing, slowly but surely. My story had sparked a movement. Companies were scared to pull the stunts they used to. Good. They should be. I'd shown what happens when you mess with an engineer's idea. Looking back, I wouldn't change a thing. The betrayal, the lawsuit, the takeover, it all shaped me. I went from a coder with a dream to a leader who changed an industry. My algorithm is still out there, powering lives and businesses. But the real victory was the culture I built. No one in my company will ever feel erased. I made sure of that. My scars are my strength, proof I could take on giants and win. I'm still coding, still dreaming, still fighting for what's right. The corporate world tried to break me. Instead, I broke their mold. And I'm not done yet. So, here I am, sharing my story with you. It's not just about revenge, it's about standing up, fighting back, and building something better. If you're out there, grinding, protecting your ideas, know this, you're not alone. Document everything. Trust your gut. And never let them take what's yours. I turned betrayal into triumph, and you can too. The corporate world isn't ready for us. Let's keep it that way. Thanks for listening to my journey. It's been a wild ride, and I'm grateful you're here. If this story moved you, share it. Let's inspire the next generation to fight for their ideas. Together, we can change the game. If you loved this story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more tales of grit, revenge, and redemption. Hit that button, join the community, and let's keep the conversation going.